like, when you reached out to me, I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm down.
I love it. Are you sharing this on your page too? Going live on your page right now?
I don't know how with this setting.
Just what you want to do is go over to your, do you have two screens?
My monitor broke on the way back from Missouri to Texas.
Well, there is actually still a way to do it. You can just go, you know, you can like minimize your Zoom screen, and you can go to Facebook, open up another page with Facebook on it. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take your Facebook page and have it like slide it over a little bit on your screen.
Yep.
And then take this Zoom screen and narrow it down a little bit, slide it over the top of your Zoom screen or your Facebook screen as your, and that way you can position it so that your Facebook Live will show this screen right here. I do that whenever I go into Kong's lab on my laptop, because I take my laptop up into the kitchen where I have my machine. Whenever I'm doing like ORP tests or any of that kind of stuff, I take my laptop up there and I just use both screens, and the Facebook side is back behind, but when you go live, there's a share screen option, of which I just realized I forgot to hit share screen. Dang it, with this new format, I keep forgetting to hit share screen. So I'm going to end the live video and I'm going to restart it again here in just a second and share the screen so that because you can tell it to share screen, and then it'll share whatever you're putting on the screen that it's sharing.
Okay.
And that'll go live. So this will be live on your page and it'll be live on Zoom, and we are recording this. And so all of this will be available. I'm going to actually start uploading everything to BitChute instead of YouTube from now on, because they're just erasing too many videos. And my bet is we're going to say a few things that are going to be against YouTube standards in this video today, and I'm loving it because I'm totally against YouTube standards in every way, shape, and form that you can think of. So anyway, I'm going to end the live video on the Kong family side, and then I'm going to start it back up immediately and share the screen. And at the same time, you can work if you want to on just starting your live. What you do is start your live video, and then what you're going to do is just drag your Zoom page, because right now you're looking at me on a Zoom page.
Yep.
And you're just going to like kind of use a side arrow, to minimize the size of the page a little bit.
Yeah.
And just slide it over so the two of them, and just make sure you hit share screen on your live.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to try this out.
Because I had this all going, all ready to rock and roll, and I went and forgot to hit. I keep forgetting, because it's kind of buried. On the old format, it was like right there in front of your face, share screen. On this when you have to kind of go down a little bit and find it, and my knucklehead keeps forgetting to do that.
How do you spell your, is it K-O-N-G, Kong Show?
K-O-N-G-S. Actually, we're the Kong family. K-O-N-G family.
Let's do that.
But what you want to do is go to your page.
Yeah, no, I'm just putting a title of my Go Live.
Okay, yeah, the Kong family. Anybody that has a Kong and water machine is part of the Kong family.
Got it. Beautiful.
Whether they like it or not.
Whether they like it or not. I love that. So then I just go live here, and then it's going to give me an option to share.
Yeah, you're gonna go live, but don't go live until you want to go over on the left-hand side of this new format. You're going to go over on the left-hand side, and you're going to say whatever you want to say about the show, about your live that you're doing right now.
Right.
And you're going to, because right now I'm going to do this with you at the same time. I'm hitting the go live button on the Kong family page, and it's going to bring up this live producer. And once this live producer comes up, I really don't like this new format at all. I'm hoping that they'll make it better as time goes by. But So over on the left-hand side, I'm going to say the Kong family welcomes David Wilkinson for some fireworks.
Oh yeah, I'm down, dude.
Dude, I love your style, man. I really do. You're in the middle, you're going to want to click use camera.
Okay.
And then over on the left-hand side, up there at the top, it says go live now, schedule a video, upcoming live videos.
Yep.
And it should say your page there. And then it says share to a page you manage. I'm going to say the Kong family. And then it says say something about this video. I'm going to say the Kong family welcomes
Oh, share screen.
David
Okay.
Wilkinson. Is it E-N or O-N?
INSON.
O-N, yeah. For some fireworks. And then, of course, the who do you?
It's not wanting to pick up my. Oh, there's a face that I know. What's up, Corey?
And then there's cross post and more pages.
What do you?
So you can cross post to a bunch of pages. See right down there below, it says cross post to more pages. So like I'm putting this on all my different pages that I have that have to do with what I do, so that it can go live on all those as well. And then before you hit that go live button, scroll down a little bit and you'll see share screen.
Yep.
And you want to make sure you hit share screen. In your case, you're going to say share screen 1. I'm going to share screen 2 because I've got this live going over on screen 2. And so that brings it up, and we've got your brother here on the live stream. And so here we go, going live. 3, 2, 1. We're back.
Awesome.
And then what you're going to want to do, David, is just drag your, once you're live on Facebook, just because you should be on 2 different pages, 2 different things, and then just drag your Zoom that's on your screen, just drag it over so that it's, click on it and drag it over so you can see both. You'll see, what I do is I just drag it over so people can see my screen, but I can see the comments, and that way I can keep giving them comments, and every time you say a comment back or whatever, you'd probably be better off to just tell them that you're, just say something to them on the show instead of doing comments, because as soon as you click to that back side, then it'll show your Facebook live and it'll get rid of your Zoom. It'll probably just show your face or whatever's going on that live side. But yeah, so here we are, kids. We got David Wilkinson in the house, and we're excited about it. And Corey, I'm gonna mute you just because any noise you make, it makes you the main speaker. And the way I like to do my shows is I like whoever my guest is to be the main person, and then all of us other trivial people, we're up at the top. And so I'm gonna mute you, or if you're not muted, mute yourself, whatever. And if you need to talk, just unmute yourself and yammer away when you get the chance, whatever. We're pretty incordial around.
Go ahead.
So, all right, David, freaking great to see you here today, buddy. And before we get into the fireworks about the things that are going on, this is the Kong Family Show. And quite frankly, a lot lately, we've been dedicating our shows to exposing all of this nonsense that's going on in our lives right now, trying to get the truth out there, trying to get real information out there, breaking all the rules, doing all the things that nobody wants to do. And just basically, we have this firm belief that the key to this is to get the truth out there. And we're going to put the truth out there and let the chips fall where they may. But what I'd really love to do before we get into the fireworks of everything that's going on is I'd like to find out how, when, and why you got involved with the Kong family, and if you were a skeptic like I was, because I'd like to make a little bit of this show here about your Kong and family story and why you got involved. I know it's been a life changer for me. I'm wondering, how about yourself, brother?
Yeah, dude, thanks for asking. I appreciate that. And thanks for having me on, man. That's so awesome. I was excited and grateful whenever you offered to have me speak. So, so it's 3.5 years ago. So my kind of backstory into this whole Kangen journey is really one of health, not so much wealth. Wealth ended up being a part of it, but I was just like trying to 3.5 years ago. I was trying to like figure out a way to become the healthiest version of myself possible because I lost my dad to cancer. He was like 54. I was 22, 23 years old. My dad died. So it's like, I kind of had a chip on my shoulder about that. Not mad at him, but mad at like the disease itself. And I thought to myself, well, that's not very like responsible as an adult to treat your body poorly enough to get sick and die. Because we know most disease starts with dis-ease in the body, stress in the body. There's multiple different ways that we can cause stress in the body, right? And one of them is the things that we're shoving down our fucking throat on a daily basis. So I knew this. I had this idea, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to leave this earth at 54 years old. Like that's way too young to leave this planet, right? Especially since I have people that love me, I have people that I love, and I don't want to leave them I don't want to leave them that early. It's not fair to them. So when that happened, it really shifted something in me to start paying attention to what health means. Not what doctors tell us health means. And that's not a low blow at doctors. They have all the best intentions. However, they're being taught by colleges funded by the pharmaceutical industry. The knowledge that's in their brains has literally been funded by an institution that wants to feed us pills and keep us sick. Anyways, I digressed. I was a little bit off. So my point is, like, I'm understanding all of these things. I try to start self-educating with, obviously you can see the books. I don't have that massive thing filled up yet, but like self-education. What does health mean? How can I improve my physiological and physical state to the extent that I don't get sick? I live a very healthy, long life, and I'm good to go. And it started with food. I dove into superfoods like chlorella and spirulina, single-celled organisms. And then I jumped into the water. Yep. Because water made sense to me. It's 75% of the equation. Like if 75% of the equation in reference to health is water, then that's probably something I should be paying attention to, right? And is all water created equal? Of course not. You wouldn't drink out of the puddle on the fucking side of the street out there or out of your toilet. So water is not all created equal, right? It's not, regardless of what people think. So I'm looking into it. I'm doing the research. I'm looking into reverse osmosis because that's been really big for years, and filtered water and well water and all of these waters and how water reacts in the body. And ultimately I came to electrolyzed reduced water. And I had to do my research. Yeah, dude, it's so good. And I knew I knew I wanted it. I was going to get it regardless because the technology just made sense to me. But it was in and out of my life. It hit that 3 stage. I don't know if you've ever heard of this, but creation is in numbers of 3, sequences of 3. I don't know if you've ever heard that before, but anyways, my point is, Kangen water came in and out of my life 3 times before I bit at it. So I wasn't skeptical, but it just had to happen that way. The story's really crazy, dude. Like, it came into my life and I was like, hey, I'm going to buy this thing. I need this for my health. And then I looked at the price of one of the machines and was like, maybe I don't need it for my health. I can't afford that shit. Or at least I thought I couldn't afford it. I thought perspective is key. So it went out of my life. A couple weeks later, I seen it again on the internet. I researched it a little bit more. It started to make a whole lot more sense to me. And then at that point in time, I reached out to my mother-in-law because she's a doctor. And I was like, well, fuck, she's a doctor. She's got to know something about this electrolyzed reduced water, the electrolysis and process, alkaline ionized water. Like, sure she does. She's a doctor. She should know because the Japanese are using it in their hospitals. So you'd think that, anyway, she didn't know shit about it. She passed it off as like black fucking magic snake oil. And it put a damper on my spirits. I was like, shit, man, that's not cool. She was supposed to tell me, yeah, I've heard about that. It's great stuff. The Japanese are really smart and really healthy, and you should get one of those. But she didn't tell me that shit. So it went out of my life again. That's 2. Then another week later, I was sitting and I'd been trying to find ways of generating an income, enhancing the lives of others, enhancing my life, and setting myself financially free. Like breaking from the matrix, breaking from the pyramid, right? The paradigm of the system. And so I'd been trying to manifest that. 3 weeks later, after that second encounter, I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go door to door and sell this water. I've always wanted to help people, and I know this will help people, and there's got to be distributors selling it, and it'll help me set myself financially free, and I won't have to go back and work a regular job, because at this point I was like in middle of jobs, in between jobs. And I called Tiffany up, my girlfriend, who I've been with for about 8 years now, and I was like, Tiff, I'm just going to go door to door, and I'm going to sell this shit. People got to be doing that, right? I call her up. She's like, Dave, if people were doing that, we would know about it. There's no way. Like, seriously? And I'm like, yeah, you're right. I remember the day like it was yesterday. I'm sitting at the gym. I just get out of the sauna, and I'm like, I'm going to go sell this stuff. And she's like, no, Dave, you're not, because people aren't doing that. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, you're right. Like, what? Little did I know. So then like a couple of days later, or maybe like a week later, she was like, I remember the day like it was yesterday. I was standing in the doorway of that 70-year-old rock black mold infested home in southern Oklahoma. Like, we were roughing it. We could barely put food on the table. It was bad. And this home was old and nasty. And I'm standing there in the doorway, and Tiffany's like, oh my God. And I'm like, and I immediately knew. She didn't need to say another word. I knew. And I was like, what? Knowing what she would say. And she was like, it's the water. And I was like, yeah, what else? And she was like, my girlfriend made like, $2,000 commission check or something last week because she's promoting this water. And it was like, bro, fireworks just started going off in my brain. Like, my whole life in an instant changed, because I knew that I wanted the water for my health. I didn't think I could afford it. But now I knew that I could not only afford it, because I would tap into the very lucrative business model that was attached to it, but I was going to be able to enhance the lives of other people as well by helping them get this water in their lives. So that was like 3.5 years ago. And I hit the ground running, dude. So that's my story. That's my story into Kangen water and the magic.
Dude, I love it, man. I mean, that's exactly it. That's the biggest thing that people don't. I've got several friends that were really interested in the water, and then they saw the price. And I felt like I had built the value up enough that they would understand. But no, obviously I still hadn't done that. And I know that for us, I've been involved for 3.5 years too. How old did you say you were?
I just crossed over the big 30, April 6th.
30 years old.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I wish that I would have known about this when I was 30 years old. And I wish I would have, I didn't get involved with it till I was 51. But, so you and I have both been involved with this thing for about the same amount of time. And we have the kind of the same attitude about it. And, because I don't really want to talk much about my side of things. I want to hear about your story and the things that you have to add today. And I always love to ask everybody what their go-to is when they get out there in the world and they're at the grocery store and, whatever. I mean, now the whole thing is so interesting, but, when you're at the grocery store, what kind of, what's your go-to move to introduce somebody to this water, to get somebody so they're interested and they might want to watch a movie or read an article or something like that, or join in on a presentation? What kind of, like, real quick, you only have a couple minutes because you're standing in a grocery store line. It's not like you got an hour to sit and talk to them about it or whatever, as if you even want to do that. But what's your go-to move when you're trying to get people involved?
So, okay, if I'm being authentic, most of my success actually comes from online sales, right? Online relationship building. However, I do have pretty extensive knowledge in reference to people and relationships and sales and the way that this thing works. And I think that a lot of the mistake that we oftentimes make as humans is we try to we try to regurgitate too much information and just puke it all over somebody all at once. And it never ends up working that way. And it's like, I think it's built into us. It's hardwired in. We want to give them all of the information that we can. However, it has the exact opposite effect of what we think it does. So what I have found actually works a lot better is very vague and quick. So what my go-to would be, I guess it would go something like, so obviously you're really cognizant about water because you're buying, alkaline water, bottled water, right? Like typically those are the people that I would prospect to. I'm not going to go to somebody that's got like, a whole cart full of like just processed food and some soda pop hanging on the side like they do with the carts. Like it's nothing against those people, but they're probably not going to even want to hear about water or care about their health. So I'm going to the water aisle and then I'm going to have conversations. So that's where we're starting is them, right? And then basically I'm just going to be like, so you're really cognizant about water? Yeah, me too. Can I show you a video? Would you mind if I showed you a video? Not right now, but send it over, because since you're so aware of water, you might actually want to check this out. And I just leave it at that, bro. Pique their curiosity. Do not satisfy it. Like what we make the mistake in doing is giving someone I wouldn't even say Kangen water, electrolyzed reduced water. I would not even mention that, because now they have something to go Google and do a little bit of Google research, which we all know is bullshit. Google is not research. It's lazy man's way of researching. So what I would do is I'd just say, I got a video that I think you might find really interesting. It's about water. You seem to be clearly conscious of water. You want to check it out? And if they give you the permission, be like, okay, cool. What's your contact information? Now you have two things. You have their permission to send the video and you have their contact information to follow up, and that's all you need. And then you send them a good video educating them on the water, just piquing their curiosity. You don't say anything about, oh, I'm a direct sales rep and this, that, because that's immediately a turnoff to them. They don't care. You're entering into their world. What can you give them? Don't say anything that implies you're going to get something from them when you're first approaching somebody. This is about relationships. Yeah. We have to keep that in the forefront of our mind. And this took me 3.5 years to learn, bro. Like, this is about cultivating relationships. And I've heard it for 3.5 years. Yeah. Relationships. I get it, right? I understand. It makes sense. But like, I got it up here intellectually. I didn't get it here in the heart until like a few months ago, where it really like landed home. And I'm like, oh shit. This is literally at its core, fundamental position, relationships, first and foremost. So when we enter into those conversations and we're genuinely interested in just giving them information and enhancing their lives, the whole conversation changes, the whole energy changes, everything changes. So that's what I would do. Just pique their curiosity, see if you can get their permission to send a video, get their contact information, and bounce. They ain't got the fucking time anyways. Neither do you. Like, just bounce and then come back to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I love that, dude. No wonder you're being so successful with this thing, and ultimately that is why we do what we do, is because we do care about other people, and we're trying to give other people the very gift that we've been given. Yep. That we strugglingly.
Well, and the thing is,
was okay, you know.
I get it, dude. I get it. And the thing is like, that is what we feel in our hearts. We genuinely want to help people. However, the words coming out of our mouths are not equaling that. So the words that are coming out of our mouth, oftentimes to the prospect, to the person that we're trying to enhance their life, doesn't come off that way. To them, they're not hearing, I want to help you. They're hearing, I want to sell something to you. And no one likes that. No one wants to be sold to. Well, few people do. I don't mind. You try to sell me something, you better be damn good at it. I'm not going to hate on you, and I'll listen to your pitch, because I'm just geared that way. But most people, man, they just don't like the idea of being sold to or someone else. I was thinking about the psychology the other day, and I'm going to like go off on a bit of like perspective here and like switch tracks. How crazy is it that the everyday average person is so hell-bent resistant against helping another everyday average ordinary person with their home-based business, but they have no fucking problem walking in and buying a Chevy pickup truck or a Mercedes or going into Walmart and purchasing something, or going into, ultimately, no fucking problem, going in and giving their money to massive conglomerates, super, uber, filthy, rich, powerful, greedy men. How is it that like we're so okay with just going and buying this fucking phone and making one man ultimately super, super rich, even more rich, and bitching about the way that the world is and how the rich have so much power and control and this, that, and the other. But the first opportunity that we get to help another person, just like us, average, it's like, oh no, you can't get ahead of me. I'm gonna stomp on you. Fucking, you can't get ahead of me. How dare you? Like, it's so fucked up, bro. The psychology is fucked. I don't care how you wanna, excuse my French, but it's just not okay. It's not, because ultimately what we have to understand is if we ever want this world to change, we have to take the money from the rich and enhance the quality of our lives. We got to share the money in the family, right? We can't keep giving it to the rich and expect the world to change. It's not going to happen. They're not going to change. We have to take the money away from them and support each other in our endeavors. And that's how the world changes, because the government's not going to change it. Politicians aren't going to change it. They sure in the hell aren't self-regulating themselves. They're stomping on the environment, testing on animals, and killing their consumers on decades. For decades this has been going on. The only way it changes is with the almighty dollar and where we decide to vote with that dollar. So anyways, I got way fucking off, but I'm really passionate about that.
No, dude, I absolutely love what you're saying right there, because you're spot on the money. And the truth is that most people out there, what they want to do is they don't want to go do that. They still want to keep going to Walmart and keep doing all this and giving all their money. What they want is they want the government to come in and take all that money away and, reallocate it and have the government do what they should be doing on their own. And that is a huge part of what's going on. And you're spot on the money with that. And before you head off, because at this point, I've got your Kong story and I love that. But ultimately, the reason why I invited you to come and do your live is because you said you were gonna go off on one today. And I was like, you know what? I want to have him come go off on the Kong show, it'll be fun. But before you do that, I want you to meet my brother Wetz. He's up here and he's just been sitting around and I think you're going to love this guy. He lives up in Montana. He's been involved with Kong and Water for over 10 years. And he's my Kong brother. He basically is part of the reason and process of why I started this. And I love him. And I want to just give him a chance to ask you any questions or say whatever he might have on his brain, because he's always funnier than hell. And you guys will get along. So you guys got to meet each other. And so Wetz, what's up, brother? What's shaking today, bud?
Well, right away, just being an attention to detail level, can you spell this white boy's last name right, man, for the starters? Can we get an I-N-S-O-N? Can you clean it up?
Wilkinson.
Can you clean that shit up a little bit, Jay John? You're better than that, damn it.
It's Wilkinson.
You got this fucking rock star coming on, dropping bombs of truth and just profane laden. I love this kid, dude. Are you a baller? Did you hoop at any point in time? You just got the cocky brass of a kid that would stick it in somebody's eye from 25, and if he tried to stop you, you'd cross his ass over and go in and stick your nuts on his teammate under the bucket. Were you a baller?
Yeah, I did play basketball.
I can tell all day, dude. You wear it like a fucking badge of honor. I dig it. Hey, no, dude. I mean, everything you're talking about, and I had this conversation the other day about just that. Everyone's tripping out, trying to figure out where they're going to get their next shit. In the meanwhile, they're shutting down meat packing plants here. It's like we all got our own economies, man. We could all stay within our own statewide, countywide shit, community-wide situation, and for the most part, be taken care of. But no, everyone's running around like Chicken Little screaming the sky is falling, and they can't see the obvious answers because they're so indoctrinated into the bullshit they've been fucking stroked with for generations.
And you know what? What's really sad about this whole thing is because I've had a lot of time to really look at what's going on a world stage right now, and that's frightening. It's not frightening that the governments are doing what they're doing because we've known that this has been going on for a long time. Yeah. What's frightening is that, like you just said, the indoctrination is so deep that it's unfortunate that I believe that millions and millions and millions are completely anesthetized and that the
Yeah.
plan is working out perfectly into their, like, it's just, they don't
It just
understand.
shocks me how many people have fucking laid down.
Yeah.
You know, they just laid down, and it's
Well,
like, okay.
Well, I think that the thing is, man, is like we don't believe that we have anybody else to stand up with. And it's like they're doing it so subtly that it's like, well, do I stand up right now and fight? Or like it's not that bad. You know what I'm saying? Like they're
Yeah.
systematically making this such a subtle thing. Like if they were to come out tomorrow and be like, no, especially in America, no more guns, you can't go outside, you can't work, you can't do all these things, then that's whenever I would hope that there'd be patriots that stood up and took our country back. But they're not going to do that because they know that's the reaction that they'll get. They're systematically, slowly doing this. So guys like us who are very aware of what the fuck is going on are still kind of like, well, is it really time to fucking pick up my AR and like, you know, go ahead and wreck house? You know what I'm saying? So like, it's
a steady drip. They're dripping on people in this regard just to see. They just keep pushing to see how long it's going to take for the bear to get the fuck up and come swinging at you with his claws.
Yeah.
And they just keep poking and keep poking and keep poking. And so many people are giggling around like the fucking Pillsbury Doughboy, thinking it's funny. Oh, yeah, oh, that's crazy. This is nuts, man. This virus is doing everything. And they're just oblivious. So I like your style, man.
The frog in the water.
Yeah.
The frog in the boiling, you know, you start the pot, just raise the temperature slowly. That frog will just sit in there and hang out. And, yeah, this is good, baby. It's warm.
Yeah, that's it, man.
Yeah, David, brother, I want to hear whatever you said you were going to come on today and do a live, and you were going to let her rip, and you were going to let everybody hear what you had to say. And man, I'll tell you what, I love your style. I know sometimes, you know, this is the way I feel about it. Sometimes the F-bomb is the only freaking appropriate word, you know, and sometimes it just needs to be thrown out there. I know a lot of people get offended by it, but whatever. I personally don't care how people say things. What I care about is what they are saying.
Giddy
I don't
up.
care how they say it. I don't care if they can't speak very well or they are dropping F-bombs every other word. I don't care. All I care about is what's coming out of their mouth truth. If it is, I'm like all into it. Here, my nickname's Helen, and I'm trying like crazy to hear.
Yeah, no, I agree, dude. I've tried to. You have so many varying opinions of like, you know, foul language. Like you have, you know, religious folk that don't like foul language for religious purposes. You have intellectual folk that don't like foul language because for whatever reason it doesn't make you sound as intelligent. You have some people that just don't like foul language. And I understand, like I empathize. I don't judge any of those people for not liking foul language, but at the same time, I don't judge anybody for having foul language. And I don't think it diminishes the quality of person that you are because you're not afraid to say fuck. like, are we serious? Are we serious? Human beings have gotten to the point now where the quality of human being on an intellectual level and a moral and ethical level comes down to the words that come out of your mouth. Are you serious? Words? Something that humans made up? Like, and it's not energy? Like you were saying there, like, I don't care either. I don't care what you say, how you say it, when you say it, where you say it. I care about the intention and the energy behind what you're saying. And that's where human beings, their egos have gotten so far out of control that they can't decipher energy, intention, reason. They cannot decipher what's behind the words, the message. They can't tell anymore, to the extent that they can only hear the words coming out, not the message and what the message means and how it feels. Like most people would never get mad at me if they understood energy. They'd never get mad and they'd never judge, because I genuinely believe there might be a few instances and cases where my ego gets out of control. We're all human, it happens. That whenever I have a message, I'm speaking that message with a genuine, heartfelt desire of changing somebody's paradigm, changing their life, changing their perspective, helping the human race. I love this planet and the humans that live on it and every single living organism with it. For whatever reason, I'm hardwired that way. Like, I want to change the world. Every day for the last 15 years, I've asked myself, how can I change the entire globe? Because it needs change if we are going to continue to like evolve and ascend and move into the future as a healthy race, right? It needs to. So like, the point is, what I'm trying to say is if people just understood energy, they'd never get mad at people that dropped an F-bomb. They wouldn't care. It doesn't matter. It does not fucking matter what words come out of my mouth as long as the intention behind those words is pure and full of love. Like, it doesn't matter, right? At least that's what I think. So.
Oh, fucking A, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, that's just confirmation right there. You know, again, too many people get hung up on how you say stuff. They're not emotionally stable enough in their own right to even discern or decipher what you're saying. And so you lose them right away on some little pseudo moral trip or something else that's bothering them. And that's what you really find out.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree 100% with that. So what I was going to say on my go live, and I'm probably going to do this go live. I have a meeting coming up here. I won't have time until later, but like, I did a go live a couple of weeks ago on my page, and it was about the coronavirus. And basically I just went into Walmart and it made me sad, dude. Like, I almost cried. So one thing we all got to understand is, and I'm sure you both understand this, but one thing people have to understand is this universe is energy in motion. Nothing exists but energy. Like, it's all energy in motion, right? And I have gotten myself to the point in the last 3.5 years where I've raised my vibration, my consciousness as a human being to the extent that I feel other human beings' energy. And when there's multiple human beings in a close vicinity, I can definitely feel the collective human energy in that room. And I went into Walmart a week and a half ago, and dude, I almost cried. The fear was so strong. It was like a stench in the air. I could feel the fear to the extent that as soon as I walked into Walmart, my entire vibration dropped and I got sad because I could feel their fear. It was heavy. It was the first time in my life I'd ever felt anything like that before. And now every time I go, and we went into Walmart in Oklahoma City yesterday, and it was even worse. Just the fear. It was something like I'd never experienced before. And it made me sad. Because I was like, what the fuck are we doing? How is it that the most intelligent species on this planet is so dumbed down to the extent that we are all in this heavy state of fear surrounding this thing that's actually not even as real as what we've been told that it was? And this thing is the coronavirus. Like, I know there's varying opinions. I respect I may not agree with it. I respect people's opinions that are afraid of the coronavirus, that believe that it's this massive pandemic. I respect that. I don't agree with it. I think it's all bullshit. I don't think that it's nearly as bad as what the governments have fed us and the media have fed us, right? So my thing is, how is it that some things is so intelligent as we are, as human beings, have been manipulated to the extent that within weeks, we're so fearful that we won't even talk to each other. We won't even look at each other. We're wearing masks, for Christ's sakes, to stop this thing that's it can't even be transmitted through the air. Viruses don't transmit through the air. That's not the way that and I know there's like actual scientific data. There's still like varying opinions in the scientific community in reference to viruses. Are they living? Are they not living? How are they transmuted? Like, there's still some things up in the air, but like, at the end of the day, people have just laid down and they've believed what the media has told them. And it's sickening to me. So I did this go live. It blew up. It got like 5,000 views. It was the best go I've done in 3.5 years. And I didn't expect that. I just got on and was like super raw, like very emotional, very raw. I got pretty heightened, and like people shared the shit out of it. Now, that's not my point. My point is, it was a shit ton of engagement on that go live, like 200 shares, 5,000 views, like almost 1,000 likes. It was crazy, 1,000 comments. My point is not, rah, Dave did a good go live. My point is, I did not realize there were as many people that were awake before that go live. So it dawned on me after that go live, because I don't have a very massive following. Like, imagine if I was like Denzel Washington or fucking Leonardo DiCaprio and I did a go live like that. You imagine how many people would have got my message?
Yeah.
So my point is like, I didn't realize how many people were awake. I thought that there were like a few of me and you and, you know, and Wes. Like I didn't know. But the next day I was like, holy shit, my following's not that large. And if this Go Live got that much engagement, there are far many more human beings that have woken up to the slumber, to the sleep, that have broken away from the matrix that the elites have tried to pin us in than I thought there were. And now my mission, I think subconsciously, my mission is we all need to start speaking up and collectively organizing, not in a violent way, but letting each other know, brother, I'm awake. And there are a lot more people that are awake. Don't feel so alone. And the reason why this is important is because when the time comes that we have to stand up and fight for our freedom, we will do that if we know 50 to 75 to 100 people in our neighborhood out of the 200 or 300 people are just like us. When we know when we go out to the street, we're going to be met with a group of people just like us. Because if we don't know that, the likelihood of us standing up and fighting back and taking back our free country is far less. Because we're not going to do it alone. I mean, I'm not scared, but how the hell am I going to take on a government with me and one AK-47? It's not going to work. And I'm not advocating for violence, but what I'm saying is sometimes difficult times create, you know, challenging, difficult men. You know what I'm saying? Or the saying goes something like that. Sometimes shit just has to happen. So like, I know I got pretty far off on a tangent there. My point is like, I really feel as if we have to very strategically and intellectually start to communicate to our brothers and sisters, humans, in a way that lets us all know we're awake. We have to stop doing things the way that we've been doing them. Like Wes said something earlier. He said that everybody's just dumb. Or no, it was you. You said that like people just want their handout. I think that people just don't know how to fight back against the institution. I just think that they don't realize how simple and easy it could be. And it literally all boils down to money. You dry up the money, you dry up their power. And we have the money. So all we got to do is dry up their resources. And like Wes said, shop locally, support each other local farmers, local grocery stores, local businesses, local entrepreneurs. And then we win. And it's that simple. It wouldn't take violence. It wouldn't take, well, the elites might get violent about it once they realize what we're doing, but we wouldn't have to get violent. We wouldn't have to do shit other than take our dollar bill and instead of go to Walmart, go to Uncle Joe's grocery store. Instead of going to fucking, you know what I'm saying? Instead of buying this here, just buy it over there locally and keep the money within our own local economies. And the whole system would come crashing down in our favor. But will that happen? We will see.
Yeah, isn't that amazing too? Because right now, what's happening is that, you know, like you were saying on your live yesterday, what was it? Fucking McDonald's is open, but the gym's closed.
Yeah.
What a bunch of fucking bullshit.
Yeah, dude.
You know, it's like the thing is all of these little mom and pop things, all the small stuff is all shut down, and all the small people are like, oh, we got to cower in our little hole because of the government, because they're telling us this thing's going to kill us. But you got Wally World and all the big wigs out there, and you know, Bezos and Amazon, they're making a freaking fortune right now because everybody's scared to death to go out of their house, and they're buying everything from Amazon instead of, and you know, and what do you think about that? I'd love to hear I know what you said yesterday about McDonald's and the gyms, and I'd love to have you extrapolate even further or whatever's on your mind, man.
Well, I think that, yeah. So I had some flack. One person was kind of like, dude, don't you understand how sickness and viruses work? And that's why gyms aren't open, because of all the sweat and the bodily fluid and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, okay, I get that. But he believes that the virus is actually as bad as what it is. So that's where the difference, that's why I didn't enter into debate with him, because although he may be right, there's more bodily fluid. There might be a better chance at transmitting that virus compared to McDonald's that's open. But I don't believe that the virus is even that big of a deal to begin with, right? So that leads me to think and believe in other ways. Like, why is McDonald's open and the gyms are closed? Why is something that increases the immunity of a human being against getting sickness closed, and something that decreases a human being's immunity to get sickness open.
Yeah.
Does nobody else find this fucking fascinatingly eerie and odd? Nobody but me? Like anybody else? Like, and it's not just gyms and McDonald's. Why are parks closed? There's no bodily fluid being changed there. That's just fresh air and nature. Why are those closed? But like these massive conglomerates are still open. Like how? That doesn't make any sense. Is no one paying attention to the writing on the wall? Like it's so blatantly obvious to me that the system is trying to keep us sick and in fear that I don't understand how other humans don't see it. I don't see it. And now it's even more obvious because of literally the stores that are shut down and the stores that are not, things that are essential and things that are not. It doesn't even make any sense. It makes no sense. Like if the government cared about our health, they'd shut McDonald's down altogether. And they build grocery stores that have fruits and vegetables, produce, living electrical foods that can feed our living electrical bodies up and replace. But they're not doing that. They don't want us to be healthy. It doesn't have anything to do with this virus. This virus is not, it doesn't have anything to do with our health. They don't care.
Yeah.
They don't care.
Well, you know, in my opinion, in that regard, if the government actually cared about our health, they'd shut down the Fraud and Death Administration. They'd shut down the Federal Destruction of Trade Commission. They'd shut down most of these alphabet soup agencies out there, and most definitely they would shut down all these pharmaceutical companies, because the truth of the matter is these pharmaceutical companies are killing people. They're killing people by the millions, and it's all part of their depopulation agenda. Just like Kill Bill. We're going to start calling him Kill Bill from now on. So I just watched something this morning that I shared it out. Old Jeff Berwick, the dollar vigilante, he did a short video of Bill Gates on a live CNN broadcast, and the guy that was interviewing him said, yeah, you know, there's all these people that are hating life. The economy's going to crap. People are losing their jobs left and right. And, you know, what do you think about this? And Bill goes, ha ha, he just got this big smile on his face. He was so freaking happy that all these people's lives are being destroyed. I mean, it was crazy looking at his face and the big smile that comes up on his face when this guy asks that question. The normal freaking human being that's asked that kind of question, they would be like, you know, it's really tragic that this is happening. And, you know, we've got to figure out what to do about it. That would be like the normal person's response who actually has a heart in their freaking chest.
Right.
He was like a big old smile. It was like, ah! But yeah, you know, I mean, people are brainwashed because they've had 100 years worth of the government educating.
Yep.
And it's not education, it's indoctrination.
Yep.
And there's a huge difference between the two. Most people, I love asking this question, and maybe you might like to start asking this question to people in the future, but I always ask people, what does the word educate mean? What's the root of the word educate? What does it mean?
I have no idea.
It means to lead out. In other words, what you're doing is you're taking what's in there. You're finding out what that person wants and what they're interested in, and then you're expanding upon that and helping bring it out. Like you find your kid's really good at math. Well, you do everything you can to help your kid learn math. You find out your kid is really good at basketball. You want to do everything you can to help them do basketball. You find out they're good at crocheting. You help them do crocheting. You know, you help your kids. That's what a real educator does, is they find out what the person they're supposed to be educating is interested in, and they help them learn that. Where with our government education system, they're just like filling these kids full of just complete garbage right from the very beginning of their lives. And you know, that's the difference. And that's why all these people are so scared. And that's why, you know, the media is able to be so effective. And, you know, so
they teach people what to think and not how to think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? Like and fellas, I gotta go, but that's definitely it. Like, humans have stopped thinking for themselves. End of period. End of sentence. Humans have stopped thinking for themselves. Period. Like, the world will change when humans start thinking for themselves again. Period. End of story.
We're on the right track anyway.
Yeah, I think so.
You know, that's what I call, you'll notice on my posts and it was, by the way, it was that co-live that you did 2 weeks ago that I watched it, and I don't know how it came across my feed, but it did. And we weren't friends at that point, but it came across my feed. Somebody must have shared it over or something like that.
Yeah.
And I saw you just going off like that. And I was like, man, I gotta send a request to this guy. I gotta friend up with him. I gotta hook up with him because, we truth seekers, we must unite. If we want to be able to save this world and accomplish the mission of our Kong family, that I always say is the mission of our show. And, we'll expand on that at the end, because we always like to end these shows the same way. But, I was one of those people that was sharing out your go live and impressed with what you had to say. And to tell you the truth, David, when, to hear that you're only 30 years young, that's even more impressive to me, because you youngins, you're the ones that are gonna make all the difference in this world. You're the ones who are gonna change the world. And, I was just even more excited when I looked you up to find out that you were already part of the Kong family. And I was like, this is going to be great, because I got to work with this guy. We got to work together. We got to share information. We got to get information out there to all of our people and everywhere that we can, in every way, shape, and form possible, because we can turn all this around, but it's going to take truth and good, solid information, and, maybe a little bit of tough love. And, so that's what I love about your gig. You're like filled full of tough love.
It's definitely just that, I think, but emphasis on love. It's definitely tough, but I agree 100%.
Yeah. So I know that whenever you're doing stuff, I'm going to definitely want to tune in. I'm going to want to hear what you're rocking, and try to do everything that I can to help you expand upon that in every way, shape, and form, whether it's with a little bit of extra information that maybe you don't know. If you ever see any of my stuff and you have any information that I don't know, please share it with me. The day that we stop learning, we might as well just be 6 foot under. And
I agree.
I love what you said about being, people's fear of dying. It's like, why not live instead?
Yeah.
Why not have some excitement for living, and don't worry about dying, And you might love this one. I got to tell you this. I love sharing this when the right opportunities arrive. My nickname's Helen, because I'm deaf and blind. And my hero is Helen Keller. She's one of my heroes, even though she was a pretty staunch socialist and whatever. She still said some things that I got to give her credit for, regardless of what her political bent may have been. And she said something. She said, security is mostly a superstition. It is not found in nature, nor do the children of men experience it as a whole. Avoiding danger in the long run is no safer than outright exposure. Life is either a daring adventure or nothing. Helen Keller,
Damn.
a lady who never could see, never could hear throughout her entire life, and she said that.
Wow.
I got to ask our audience, when they get a chance to see this, how can somebody like Helen Keller, who couldn't see and couldn't hear, and if you stop and just think about that, how difficult that would make your life, to not be able to see, not be able to hear, and yet she made a statement like that. That's like the ultimate in bravery to me. And here, I'd like to get that out there for people to hear, because most people they've never heard that.
Right.
But here we are, we're running around just scared little chickens with our freaking masks on, and just, it's like, what the heck, come on, man, have a little bit of heart, have a little bit of courage. This is the home of the free and the land of the brave and whatever, I mean, come on, how about showing some bravery, crying out loud.
I agree. 100%.
That was what I loved about what you had to say the other day or a couple weeks ago and yesterday and everything you're done is because you're exhuming, or exhibiting like bravery and courage
Well, I
and
really appreciate
the desire for freedom. And we need that. So
yeah. I'm grateful for you having me on, man. I really am. We're going to have to do this again sometime. I really am truthfully grateful for you reaching out and having me on the show. It's nice. Appreciate it.
brother, I'd love to have you on anytime you've got something you want to rock. If you've got a message you want to get out there, I'd love to help you get it out there because, we're basically two peas in a pod that, I might be old enough to be your dad, but I feel more like your brother. And, so I'm just super grateful that you came on to share your story about being part of the Kong family and how you got involved. I think that's really important. And, quite frankly, I think this whole thing has more to do with 5G. I think this virus has been the Lee Harvey Oswald for the creation of this 5G stuff that's coming down the pike. And I believe that the best thing that people can do is protect their immune systems to be able to deal with not only any virus that's going to come down the pike, because trust me, there's going to be more of them. They're creating them in laboratories. They've got right now, the government has scientists sitting in laboratories right now as we speak, trying to figure out how to make a virus mutate so that it can become deadly, so that it can kill people. I mean, this is what our government's doing, and this has brought it all out to light. And the best thing that we can do as individuals, and I firmly believe this, and I always tell people, I really don't care where you get your Kangen water machine from. I just care that you get it. Right. And that brings me to one last thing before we head out of here, and then give our prayer and our final thing over just a minute or so. But people that come into this show, people that are going to be seeing this, they might have listened to what you said and they're like, man, I want to hook up with this dude. This dude is right up my alley, man. I want to work with this guy. I want to do business with him. But how do they get a hold of you? Because, and I always give everybody that comes on the show the opportunity to give out whatever information they want, whether that's websites, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, phone numbers, email, I don't care. And if you don't even want to give any information, you don't have to do that either. So I want to give you a minute to tell everybody how they get a hold of you. How does the world get a hold of David Wilkinson? What's the best way to get a hold of him? What's the best way to learn about him? Whatever. I want to give you that opportunity because there might be people who want to hook up with you as they see this thing.
Yeah, I think aside from just my Facebook, which is just David Wilkinson, and the handle is @David Wilkinson, my cell phone number, I think, and I'm totally fine with giving that out because I'm an open book that way. I don't really give two shits. My cell phone number is area code 314-805-5560. That's 314-805-5560. And that would be the best way to directly get a hold of me. I'm not for whatever reason, even though I've been doing this for 3.5 years and I would consider myself pretty influential, I don't have a website. I should probably, but I just don't. I haven't felt compelled to, even though I love doing videos and I love being in front of the camera. So I don't have, I'm not too active on Instagram, but I don't know. Those are the two ways to get a hold of me. I try to go through and accept most of my friend requests if anybody wants to shoot me a friend request. And yeah, that's my cell phone number. So
awesome. Yeah, well, I really appreciate that. And I've gotten into a new program now of ending the show with a short prayer. And so I'd like to give a little prayer and then and then old Wets and I will give our farewell that we always give. I think you'll get a kick out of it. And so with that said, everybody, you know how to get a hold of David. If you do send him a friend request on Facebook, please do it in the common courtesy of sending him a message to go along with it, telling him why you sent him a friend request. Don't just send him a friend request. That's one of the things I always ask everybody, because I kind of figure it to be a matter of common courtesy. Just telling people why, you know.
Yep.
And so anyway, our dear Father in heaven, we thank thee for this opportunity today to meet with this young, incredible fireplug of a gentleman, David Wilkinson. I want to thank you for bringing him into our lives, that we can learn from him, that we can get energy from him, that we can have our eyes opened by him, that we can help others do the same. And we ask that you will protect him as he goes out there sharing the truth, spreading the truth, even though it might be against his best interests. And we just ask that you will protect him and his family and help him to continue to share the message of truth, to share the message of love, to share the message of health. And that also we ask that you will help. We ask this every day, Lord, please help people gain the discernment, look at what's happening around them, to turn off their TV screens, to start looking at their friends, to start building relationships, to start looking elsewhere, to make sure that what they believe is the truth. And whatever they get, that they find that they do the best they can to make sure that what they're being afraid of is the truth. And we ask ultimately that you give them courage. Give them the courage to find and search for the truth and not be afraid. And we ask these things in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ, our Savior. Amen. So anyway, Wets, you know, David, we're here to change the world.
Yep.
People think that that's crazy and that you know, you can't change the world. Nobody can change the world. But you know what? We're part of the Kong family, and we happen to know for a fact that we are changing the world. We're seeing the world changed on a daily basis. Every time somebody gets their new Kangen water machine, their world is changed. Another world is changed. And so, you know, Wets, we're changing the world, buddy. How is it that we're doing it again?
Well, I like to think it's one glass of 9.5 hydrogen-rich, oxygen-saturated, supremely hydrating Kangen water at a time. Thank you kindly.
Amen. One glass of Kangen water at a time. Thank you very much. And one lightning bolt in a box, one incredible, informative guest, one amazing family at a time, one fun and informative show at a time. So kids, get out there, change the world, starting with your own, and do not forget your hugs, especially right now when you're not allowed to hug anybody. You can't even hardly look them in the eye. Make sure that you get your hugs and give them a big old hooty-hoo. David, thank you, brother, man. What a great opportunity meeting you, man. I love everything that you're doing. I love your passion. I love your energy. I love your love. And I'm just looking forward to continuing to work with you and continue towards our goal, because I know that goal that I just mentioned of changing the world, I know that that's your goal too. And so I see a long, fruitful, loving and helping and world-changing relationship coming here, man. So go fire up some threes, man. Double cross them over and lay it up and into the hoop, baby.
I appreciate you guys. I got love for you guys. I appreciate you so much. Thank you.
Have a great one, you guys. Bye for now.